Oh, well, hello. I see our guests have arrived. Thank you so much for coming. My name is John C. McDougall, and this is my home, although I understand that in your time it's known as Hilltop House. But this house has stood here for 10 years. It was built in 1913, although I think for you it's been over 100 years now. Well, shall we have a tour? Come and look around the house. It really has been kept in a remarkable shape. I see the staircase is still mostly original. It's one of two staircases, you know. There's a second servant's staircase in the back. Lots of fun for the grandchildren to run around up and down the stairs. I see the light fixture hasn't changed. I love that light fixture. It's a beautiful home. Why don't we go into the dining room and see what's in there? Oh, and here's my darling wife, Sophie. I'd like to introduce you to our guests, my dear. This is your favorite room of the house, isn't it, my dear? And you know, the part that I like about this house is those original gas fixtures by the stained glass. Do you know that we built this house with gas piping even before there was gas available in the village of Edmonton? You know, it would be 4 years before Edmonton was connected to the Viking oil fields. But we thought ahead, and the house was ready to go.
Welcome to our home. We do so delight in having guests. I suppose John has told you plenty about the house by now. I am Sophie Tate McDougall. I came to Edmonton after John and I were married in my hometown in Ontario. John and I love to entertain. In fact, it is even rumored that I hosted pink teas, but I'll never tell. The parties were held right here with this very same set of furniture. The table, chairs, and even rug were donated back to the house by our grandson.
I see you've got my famous fudge. You know, I've become quite well known for making fudge. In Edmonton, it's hard to come by maple syrup. And of course, Sophie being from Ontario, she misses it. So I used to import it and make it for her as a surprise. And of course, now my colleagues and business associates trouble me for some. And the children do love a piece at Christmas. You know, we'll make sure that Martha packs some up for you before you go. Why don't we move on into the parlor? Sophie, it was lovely to see you. Ah, the parlor. I've spent so many wonderful evenings in this room, and what remarkable shape it has remained. You know, the crown molding is still the same, the fireplace is original, even the hardwood floors. That's amazing. It's bird's eye maple, you know. You can't get that anymore. And I see that a lot of my photos have survived into the future. I was an avid photographer, and in fact I had a dark room downstairs. I wonder if it's still down there. This picture I took not long after the house was built. It hasn't changed much from the front. Pictures of my father and my mother, John Sr. and Lavisa, and their old home, McDougall Mansion, which was just up the street. Unfortunately, I understand it's been torn down in your time. And what's this? I remember taking this picture. It's of the Hotel McDonald. You know, it was built just a few years after this house was built. Fascinating. And what's over here? Well, look at this. Pictures of my family. This is my daughter, Eleanor, and myself and Sophie, and our son, John Jr. We name him Jack. Here's a handsome fellow. And our whole family, right here, celebrating Christmas. It's wonderful to see that these pictures have lasted all this time. What else is here? Look at that, Father's old store. You know, my father was a politician and a merchant, and this was the very first store that we had on Jasper Avenue. I understand it's been torn down. Such a shame. And there's the man himself, John Alexander McDougall. Ah yes, the billiard room. One of my favorite rooms in the house. But you know, Sophie didn't care for it much. You know, the views changed quite a bit. Out through these windows, there used to be a beautiful garden, and Jack and I grew sweet peas. You know, they were 6 feet tall, tallest in the neighborhood. We were so proud of those. This room is quite a bit different than I remember it. You know, my colleagues and I used to have Cake of the Month Club. Oh, well, would you look at that? Here we are right here. So many fun times. We would bring in specialty beers and then have tastings and enjoy the evening while the ladies sip tea in the other room. You know, in fact, this room is a lot bigger than I remember it. It used to be much smaller, but that fireplace is still original. There was a door here that would lead outside because Sophie didn't like my business associates coming through the main door. I wonder what the room is used for now. Maybe some things are better left unknown to the 20th century gentleman. You know, this part leads us to the back of the house and the kitchen. Oh, but that hutch used to be in the dining room. Oh well. This is the door to the kitchen. And this is where Martha spends most of her time. Martha's our housekeeper, and she's been with the family for years. Let's see what she's up to. Martha?
Oh, not now, Miss McDougall. I'm cleaning up those dang chemistry pops.
Chemistry pops. That's Jack. Jack is always pranking her with his chemistry set. We won't go in there. And besides, I hear that it's been modernized over the years anyway. Ah, but the dumb waiter is still here. You know what? This is such a fun time for the grandchildren, and I understand that my granddaughter Eleanor locked her younger sister in here, made her cry. It's quite funny. Oh, except I don't know what's happening in there now. Very modern. Well, I think you've seen all the interesting parts of the house, and I want to thank you for journeying back in time to visit with Sophie and me in our beautiful home. We loved living here, and we're so glad that the Edmonton Community Foundation is taking such good care of it. Thanks for visiting, and enjoy your fudge.